Hey guys, it's Saturday. Normally, I use Saturdays to discuss episodes of animated TV shows about superheroes, and today I am discussing the two-part Season 1 finale of the Legion of Superheroes cartoon. This story is titled Sundown. If you have not seen these episodes, or you have but you may have forgotten about them, I am about to cover the plot really quickly, and there will be spoilers, just a fair warning. We begin with Bouncing Boy, the newly elected leader of the Legion of Superheroes, running a simulation to test his skills as leader. But then we get an alert that a machine called the Sun Eater has escaped from captivity on an empty solar system, and the Legion needs to stop it before it can consume a sun. Once it consumes a sun, it will become nearly invincible. The Sun Eater does consume the sun of the solar system that it is in, and then we find out that it was released by one of the aliens who created it. These aliens are called the Controllers, and this particular one believes that chaos is where it is at, while his friends believe that control is the way. That's basically his motivations. They don't exactly make sense, but I guess this story needed an external villain other than a mindless machine for the Legion to fight. Or rather, for Superboy to fight, while the rest of the Legion dealt with the Sun Eater. Anyway, so Bouncing Boy has the Legion break the Fatal Five out of prison to help him develop a means of defeating the Sun Eater. And they are very close, but a coil inside their machine breaks, and the Fatal Five attempt to turn on the Legion. The Legion has the Fatal Five taken care of, but the coil is still broken. And remember Pharaoh Lad, who only showed up like a week ago? It just so happens that he can turn into metal. So he goes in and becomes the coil, if you will, and sacrifices his life to destroy the Sun Eater before it can make its way to Earth. And then as the episode ends, Superboy goes back home to the very minute that he left in the first place. Cue credits. So my complaint about Pharaoh Lad being introduced so late in the series still stands. If you're going to do an emotionally powerful sacrifice scene, then let it be with a character who we've come to know over an entire season. And I don't mean trade Pharaoh Lad for Timberwolf in this scenario. I mean introduce Pharaoh Lad at the beginning and then kill him off like you did here. There is absolutely no reason this could not have happened if the show was going to kill him off anyway. Having said that, even though I knew it was coming because of my limited knowledge of the Legion of Superheroes, and I'm sure anyone who watched the previous episode could see it coming, it was still a well done death scene. About the best you could expect from an animated series aimed at children, I think. I really like that this episode continues dealing with Bouncing Boy struggling with the idea of being a leader, and even though he's not perfect at it, he shows himself to be a good leader. What else do I like? I like that the Legion is willing to think outside of the box and ask the Fatal Five for help. And I like that for the most part the Fatal Five is willing to help the Legion. I imagine because it's their solar system too, and they don't want to die. I do find it a little odd that they tried to double-cross the Legion in the end, but I guess that's just to reinforce that these guys are villains, even if they are kinda sorta acting against their own interests in this scenario. It seems to me that them bailing on the Legion is sorta dangerous for them. What happens if the weapon doesn't work? As it turns out that it doesn't. Then would the Fatal Five allow the solar system to be destroyed with them in it? Or would the solar system being destroyed even have any impact on the Fatal Five if they were in a spaceship? But like I say, I think this was really just to show kids, remember, these are the bad guys, see? They are doing bad things. I also like the idea of a group of aliens creating a weapon so terrifying that it scares the rest of the galaxy into stopping their wars. It was a neat science fiction update on real life, and I find it very believable, likely because it is based on realism with nuclear weapons being used as a deterrent to stop war, historically speaking. Where I have a problem with it is that apparently after being used twice, the Sun Eater machine was deemed too dangerous to be destroyed. Let me reiterate that. It was deemed too dangerous to be destroyed. That does not in any universe make a single ounce of sense. I get that if the controllers did the sensible thing and destroyed this thing if they felt that it was too dangerous to keep around, then we wouldn't have a story here. But then why not just change the script so that the story makes sense? Say that they kept the thing to scare the United Planets and prevent war in the future. That wouldn't have been very hard at all, and it already makes the plot make much more sense. I'm glad that the show isn't entirely ignoring the fact that Superboy was from the past. Outside of the first episode, and maybe one other episode after that, it hasn't seemed like Superboy really needed much time to adapt to the future and alien worlds and cultures and the like. In fact, he almost seems just as at home here as his teammates do. So it's nice that the episode is saying, yeah, if he stays much longer, he's going to have spent a year in the future, and then he will be 22 when he goes to his job in Metropolis when he's supposed to be 21, or whatever his age is supposed to be. As is, I can see all of Season 1 maybe taking the span of an entire month. So it's not too extreme when he comes back home to the 21st century and is only 1 month older. I do kind of wish that we could have had a conversation with Superboy and the Legion where one of the characters comes to the realization that he does need to go back home because it's too dangerous for him to stay in the future. Maybe they say that with the solar system almost being destroyed, if Superman had survived but had no way of getting home, then all of the time stream would have been severely altered. If we could have had a conversation like this, then it would have made this sudden departure back to the 21st century a little less sudden and out of nowhere. Overall, I would say this was a solid season finale. It might have been a little stretched out, as I can think of just enough from this 40 minutes of television that could have been cut to make this a normal length episode. But it's very enjoyable, and even with the few things I can complain about here, I don't think this was a bad way to end the first season. I am pretty excited to see Season 2. And with all of that being said, that's all I have to say for this review. I hope you guys found this video to be helpful and enjoyable, and if you did, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to come back next Saturday for a review of an episode of Batman the Animated Series. And the following weekend, I will be back to talk about the 2-part Season 2 premiere of the Legion of Superheroes. Until then, be sure to come back throughout the week to see some of my other videos I have in store for you guys. I'll see you then, so be sure to have a great weekend.